Kennedy, what do your Uncle Doc do?
He do community justice. He help people fight for rights, and when he says something, he back it up.
What's going on, man?
What's going on? How you doing?
Man, I'm blessed. How you?
Good, I'm good.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
Good, doing all right. Thank you.
Good, man. What's going on, family? How you doing?
Nice to meet you.
Pleasure to meet you, man. My name's Jamar Doc Montgomery. I'm glad that I got to connect with you fellas today. If y'all didn't know, I'm running for United States Senate. And so one of the major things that I wanted to focus on was bringing more young people into the political process, into voting, into being involved in your government. You know, a lot of people don't have a lot of faith in their government right now, don't have a lot of faith in politicians, and we're just kind of floating. Just kind of floating. I know for me, one of the things was I got tired of complaining about it. And the only way to really change things is if you go ahead and get involved. If you don't like the way that things are going or what people are doing, then you have an obligation to step up. And that's what I decided to do running for this race. But one of the main issues has been trying to get young people involved in politics. So I wanted to ask you, why don't young folks, why don't we get involved in politics?
I think some people may just not, they just don't pay attention to what's really going on, or they may not care about like what's really going on in the world. Like they just be living and be sidetracked by a lot of stuff. Some people, they don't know the knowledge about it, they don't do the research about it, they just lost really, and they need to be found.
And what was your name, brother?
My name is Tavares.
Tavares, man, pleasure. Your name, brother?
Mason.
My name is T-Hicks.
T-Hicks. For sure.
Caesar, Mason.
For sure. What's up, young prince?
What's up, Lou?
What's happening, man?
What's going on?
How you doing? That's your little one?
Yeah, that's my little one. I gotta get him educated on, when he grow up.
Absolutely.
And I wanted to piggyback off what he was saying when you asked why does it seem so hard to get the youth involved? And I want to say mainly because I feel like awareness. They are unaware. It's like a lot of young people are unaware of what it potentially could mean if you went out there and voted and you had a voice. They feel like it don't matter if I have a voice, they're gonna do what they want anyway. It is what it is. It's the country I'm living in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But
ultimately, that may in some ways be true for some, but it's not. If you don't have a voice and you're not out there, then you give them the platform to say, oh, well, then they don't care anyway. They don't. No one's there to show up, basically, to go against whatever other liberal or Republican Democrat might have something to say. But if you don't not there to give your voice and give your opinion, then there is no debate. Right. Feel me? It becomes a monarchy where it's like, yeah, this is what it's gonna be because we say so.
Right.
So it's raising that awareness. You know what I'm saying? We need people to be aware. Like, if you feel like your voice don't matter, come out there and give a voice. Like, especially to the young folks. I feel like our older folks have gone through. If you look at history, this country is just coming from a time when the 30s and 40s. You talking about oppression and black people just getting free and equality and stuff like that. Even women fighting for it. So I just feel like people have to be raised awareness, and you have to continue because maybe the older people have gone through what they've gone through, so they've taught that don't matter. But we, as a young crowd, feel like he is young one. I'm gonna tell my young one's the same. My young one's the same thing. Like, man, it does matter. You should be aware, because I wish I had been more aware. I need to be more aware of what's going on in my city.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Politically and in my state, who running for, and I need to know these people. Who are they? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, you represent my state. Which means when you going to these meetings, you represent me. I live in that state.
Right.
So ultimately, we need to be more involved, and raising awareness, I think, is key. And
Absolutely. Did you have anything?
Basically the same thing they said. Just my people need more knowledge on it. They have more knowledge on it, then they'll really just know to go vote. But a lot of times they don't. You saying, you just tell them go vote. But like, what is it? What I'm voting for?
Right.
That's the main thing. So they had more knowledge, and they really knew what it was about, and they really knew what it was for and what it stood on, and they'll do it. That's what I feel.
That's interesting because
They really knew the importance of it. Like that's what I feel. Then if they knew the importance of it, they'll do it.
You know, that's interesting because, you know, I do hear that about like, well, awareness, right? Knowing what I'm voting for and then like knowing why. Because it's like, well, you're telling me to vote for this person or to vote for this, but why?
Why? All right.
Right. Why should I vote for so-and-so? Why should I vote for Jamar? You know what I'm saying? Why should I vote for him? Why? You know, how do you... I guess it's knowing how your government works. It's like two parts of it, right? Knowing how your government works and then knowing the people who are going for those positions. What powers that they have, you know, what powers what powers come with that position, and then what are the people that are running for it, what do you think that they're going to do for it? So, how do we help bring that awareness?
How do we help?
Good question. That's a good question. How do you?
How do we help? We gotta just do more things to keep it interesting, to make it interesting.
I like that idea.
You know?
I actually like that one.
We gotta find ideas to make it interesting, to gravitate people towards it, to gravitate the young youth towards it.
Okay.
And they make a lot.
Find ways.
That make a lot of interesting because when you think about it, if I get a bunch of young people, don't get me wrong, we are young.
Yeah.
I mean, mid-20s. You know,
20.
we young, bro. But it's like to get people on the same like-minded, that interesting factor is like, hey man, let's go vote for the Senate. Let's go vote for the mayor, the governor. Let's go vote for a law. Okay, well, why are we doing that? I don't see the significance in me going up there and voting for this person, you know, this law. They don't see
look, as far as, for instance, I make music, so as far as if I gotta go make a song about it and do a little commercial, make a song about it with you on the side of me, promoting you, like, that'll make it interesting.
That makes it interesting. So now you're catching eyes, because that's something the youth is into heavy. Social media, Instagram, music, rappers. You know what I'm saying? They want to see that. Okay, yeah, he'll catch their eye. But him showing them that he more about, you know, I do care about my political standpoint or what I'm viewed as politically in the world. You know what I'm saying? We just a country.
That's it.
We live within a country.
Yeah.
So when you go somewhere, it is important to know, and I'm saying this now, I didn't know that then, but I know it now. It is important to know if I go to Atlanta or Miami or New York and somebody say, well, what are you? You know what I'm saying? What you stand for? If you don't stand for nothing, you don't even know what you like. You don't know if you're a liberal. You don't know if you're Democratic. You don't know if you're Republican. You don't know if you got the same viewpoints. I know a lot of people don't have the same viewpoints with the president we have right now.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, think about that. Like, but if we can make it more interesting, like he said, who says we can't use politics and throw it into a creative way to get people to see it and go, yeah, man, I'm gonna get into politics.
Yeah.
Or we start having young brothers that, like you, man, I want to grow up and be a Senate one day. I want to grow up and be the governor or the mayor. You know what I'm saying? But you got to make them see that is an important and an important and significant role, and that person matters too. It might not be the president, they matter too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's just creating that atmosphere of getting people to want to say, election is coming up.
Absolutely.
How many times you hear people go, elections coming up, and everybody get excited about that?
Right.
You know, you want to get people excited.
And then, so I was looking on your site, and I was looking at like what you do it for, what's your purpose?
Yeah.
You know, so I wanted you like explain to us kind of like what's your purpose and why you doing it, like what you trying to get from it.
Okay.
You know
okay, for sure. Well, you know, man, I got tired of like people saying that young people aren't involved. Well, what are the young people doing? What are the young people doing? And part of it, I think, are young people, and we've always been told to kind of like wait our turn.
Right.
You know, it's like we've been treated in such a way where we want you to be in the kitchen cooking, but you got to still go sit at the kiddie table.
Right. In a sense.
So we want you to do the work, but we don't really want you to be seen and to be seen as a full member. And I rejected that thinking. But what really did it for me was I was teaching political science at Southern, right? Teaching political science at Southern, and my students were always saying about like, well, my vote doesn't matter, my vote doesn't count, right? So I'm teaching political science, but how do I make this interesting so that they actually get something out of it? Like, I can teach you the Constitution, I can teach you all that, right? But really, how do I help you solve problems in your life? And how do I show you that the people that you elect have this power over you and tying them to whatever problem that you have? So in teaching them about their government and showing them how their government worked, it was like, well, is that still true that my vote doesn't matter or my vote doesn't count? But you know, I felt that with college students, but then I'm now a public defender. I'm a juvenile public defender, so I work with children and I work with families. Okay. And, you know, I remember being a little knucklehead when I was younger, right? A lot of us have been able to evade that system, right? But I really identified and relate to them because of I remember what it was like. You know, I remember what it was like and what I was doing at that age. You know, my mom found out about some of the things I've done, you know, like so I had that experience, and now being able to hear the same things coming from the kids that I'm representing as a lawyer, right? Well, you know, the government this, and my vote doesn't matter. Now, mind you, they're kids, but they're already being trained and brainwashed into believing that their vote doesn't matter, early. That, and like you said earlier, your vote is your voice. So you're being trained to be silent already. And here it is you are in this system with elected judges, elected prosecutors. There are people here that elections matter because these are now the people who decide whether or not they understand you as a young kid that just got into some trouble, or they want to be tough on kids that look like you. You know what I mean? So now making that connection between their situation and the people who have power over them. I didn't realize that I didn't realize that this passion was going to come as a result of that. But it was like, well, you know, they would say, well, Doc Montgomery, you got an issue with this, and you have an issue with that. Like, my name is Jamar Doc Montgomery. I'm running for United States Senate. You can find me on Instagram at Doc Montgomery 2020. I'm on Facebook at Doc Montgomery. I'm on TikTok, Doc Montgomery.